Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's a webinar on integration of GIS in sustainable built environment. Myself, S.K. Kamrul Alam, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department, Omdal Group of Institutions. I'm your host for today. See, the pandemic has changed so many things, but nothing has stopped completely. We moved our normal classroom to the virtual platform like Zoom meeting or in Google Meet or in Team. So many events are being organized in virtual platform, and this has some positive side also. In our classroom seminar, we can reach to few students, but here through this online webinar, we can share the valuable insight of the topic to a large number of audience. So this is a good thing. Today, this webinar is an initiative taken by Department of Civil Engineering, Omdal Group of Institution, to spread knowledge the best way possible. A warm welcome to you all again. Before we start the presentation, let me introduce with our guest. We have our first guest speaker, Ms. Aditi Acharya, Senior Scientist, Department of Science and Technology, Government of West Bengal. Our Vice Principal sir is here, Dr. Prosenjit Sen, Professor Gautam Bandyopadhyay, HOD, Civil Engineering Department, Omdal Group of Institution. Usually we start any auspicious event with lamp lighting, since light symbolizes abundance, prosperity, and knowledge. The lighting of an oil lamp regarded as to bow down to knowledge. It removes darkness, ignorance, unhappiness by spreading the Almighty's grace and the divine energy in the surrounding. So accepting the new normal, we'll inaugurate this event also by lamp lighting, but virtually. So let's start the virtual lamp lighting ceremony. Okay, so the lamp lighting ceremony is over. Now I would request our Vice Principal sir to say a few words.
Good morning all. I am very honored to become a part of the webinar. In mid of this pandemic situation, the Civil Engineering Department of Om Dayal College of Engineering has come up with the wonderful topic for the benefit of the student. We are not in a situation to conduct this physically due to the pandemic. Therefore, we have chosen the online platform for the event. I am very much thankful to our speaker. Hope the student will enjoy this session and be benefited a lot. Thanks and best wishes for the event.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Now I request our HOD, Professor Gautam Bandyopadhyay, to say a few words. Hello. Sir, your voice is not audible, sir. So please check your mic. Sir, kindly check your microphone. You are not audible.
By taking initiative and keen part to organize this very important program. I would also appreciate for today's this session guest speaker, Madam Aditi Acharya, for accepting our invitation to deliver the 3D GIS in city planning. This is also part of geoinformatics. Now, what is for the students? What is geoinformatics? Though, I mean, Madam will explain you in detail. So, geo means art, and informatics means your information, study of information plus. So, I am sure that you will feel enriched with knowledge after this completion of session. Once again, I will thank you all, and students, you will have a great time ahead. And please, enjoy, listening the lectures from Madam Aditi Acharya. Thank you all.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your encouraging words. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box, and we will bring them up during the presentation if necessary, or we will also have time for questions at the end. Okay. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to our first speaker, Miss Aditi Acharya. Over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, your microphone. Please check your microphone.
Okay. Now it is audible?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Thank you so much, the Om Dayal Group of Institute, Dr. Gautam sir, and the Vice Principal sir, and you also, to give me the opportunity and give me the platform to deliver the lecture. Hope all of you are well in this pandemic situation, and today our topic is the 3D GIS for city planning. I shared my presentation. It is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So first of all, I go to the 3D GIS. For today, our topic is 3D GIS for city planning. Now, 3D is the very interesting topic is today. We all know the 3D about 3D movie, and we all are very much familiar to 3D photographs uploaded in our social media like Facebook, Instagram, etc. So how it is the 3D GIS technology used for city planning? If 3D GIS is the topic, then the book is the geoinformatics. The geoinformatics is the vast chapter. All of you know the geo means the art, and information means the study of information processing. কিছুটা বোঝা গেল না, তাই তো? তো জিও ইনফরমেটিক্সে আমরা যদি দেখি যে এটা একটা বুক, তো তার একটা টপিক হলো 3D GIS। তো জিও ইনফরমেটিক্সটা কি জিনিস? জিও ইনফরমেটিক্স হচ্ছে এমন একটা সায়েন্স অ্যান্ড টেকনোলজি যেখানে আর্ট রিলেটেড ইনফরমেশন অ্যাকুইজিশন আর তাকে স্টোরেজ করে প্রেজেন্টেবল ফর্মে প্রসেস করা হয়। আর যদি আমি আরো সিম্পল ওয়ার্ডে বলতে চাই, তাহলে জিও ইনফরমেটিক্স হচ্ছে এমন একটা পাওয়ারফুল টেকনোলজি যেটা সাপোর্ট করে বেসিক সায়েন্টিফিক ইনকোয়ারি as well as address the complex and social environmental challenges through data analysis. এবং মেইনলি স্পাশিয়াল ইনফরমেশন means geo related information, earth related information. তো জিও ইনফরমেটিক্স এর মেইন স্ট্রিম গুলো হলো, মেইন ব্রাঞ্চেস হলো রিমোট সেন্সিং, ইন শর্ট অফ আরএস, জিপিএস গ্লোবাল পজিশনিং সিস্টেম, জিআইএস জিও ইনফরমেটিক্স জিওগ্রাফিক ইনফরমেশন সিস্টেম, কার্টোগ্রাফি আর ডিবিএমএস ডেটাবেস ম্যানেজমেন্ট সিস্টেম। তো রিমোট সেন্সিং বলতে আমরা মেইনলি বুঝি এমন একটা টেকনোলজি যেটা হচ্ছে রিমোটলি সেন্স করে কোনো অবজেক্ট। আমরা যখন রিমোট দিয়ে এসি অন করি সেটাও কিন্তু রিমোট সেন্সিং, আমরা যদি রিমোট দিয়ে টিভি অন করি সেটাও রিমোট সেন্সিং। কেমন? যে আমি তো টিভিতে গিয়ে কারেন্টের অপশনটা অন করছি সুইচে, কিন্তু টিভির বাটন অন করার জন্য উই আর ইউজিং রিমোট। তো রিমোটলি এটা হচ্ছে একটা অবজেক্ট। আমি যখন রিমোটলি টিভি অন করছি, রিমোটলি এসি অন করছি, কিন্তু যখন হ্যালো
ma'am, please, hello, ma'am, please, deliver your lecture in English, because please deliver your lecture in English, because there are people they don't understand English. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sorry,
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Bengali.
Okay, sir. So
Please carry on.
Okay, sir. Okay, no problem. I will deliver in English.
Okay. Sorry to bother you.
Okay. So remote sensing is an art and science which obtaining the information about an object or feature without physically coming and contact with object. Whenever we on the TV or AC remote, using remote, that is also remote sensing, because whenever remotely sense any object, then that is called remote sensing. In the geoinformatics, remotely we sense the earth surface. Why? How can we remotely sense the earth surface? This is so many platforms. Mainly 3 types of platform are given in geoinformatics. Which one? First one is ground-borne. This is the ground-based platform. Second one is airborne platform, and third one is spaceborne platform. One of the platform using one-off device. Which one? Ground-borne platform using spectral radiometer and GPS, etc. And airborne platform using aircraft, air balloons, and spaceborne platform only using satellite. This is the pictorial format of platforms. Platforms mean the spaceborne platform is mainly above 100 kilometer, but 100 meter. This is the satellite as placed in the sky. So that is the spaceborne platform, and it is distributed and in the altitude wise. And the below 100 kilometer, this is the airborne platform. Like we are using drone, we are using aeroplane, and we are using aerial television also. And the ground-borne platform, this is our spectroradiometer. We are using handheld spectroradiometer in the field. And these are the platform, we are going for the type of remote sensing. We are mainly 2 type of remote sensing. One is passive and one is active. Why we are using active and passive remote sensing? Passive remote sensing means it's recorded the earth surface temperature or earth surface signal as if the pictorial presentation. It is sun reflect the earth and earth reflection collected by satellite. This is called passive remote sensing. And active remote sensing, the laser beam reflected the earth surface and it is reflected and collected from satellite. This is called the active remote sensing. I give you some example of satellite name. We are using the sun energy for collecting the satellite image. First we go for land and water. This satellite name Resourcesat. This is the Indian satellite. We are this is launched from Sriharikota, and this is the data collected from National Remote Sensing Agency, Hyderabad. And this is, you see, first one is Resourcesat 2 2011, and this is Resourcesat 1 for 2012. And this is also high resolution image. I go later what is resolution. And high resolution image means this is the high resolution satellite is Cartosat 2, which launched by Indian this is also Indian satellite 2007. Cartosat 2A, these are the name of the satellite 2000, and this is the launch. Every satellite has one launching period and one expiry period. And these are the, now this is the working. And Cartosat 2B, this satellite launched by India 2010. And this is the OceanSat satellite. OceanSat 2 launched 2009 and Sorol satellite for 2013. And weather and climatic, these are the climatic satellite for the Kalpana 1. All of you know the Kalpana Chawla is the great astronomers who are in her name. This is the Indian weather forecasting satellite Kalpana 1, which is launched by India 2002, and INSAT 3A 2003, INSAT 3D 2013. And these are the some satellite image. If you are go, this is the 1 km image capability. Imaging capability. These are 1 km to 0.65 meter. These are the resolution. I go later for what is resolution. So this is the Indian satellite we are using for active remote sensing. Active remote sensing means the sun rays came to the earth surface and its energy reflected from various bands. It's called visible band also, it microwave band also, and infrared band also. And the satellite capture its energy and produce the satellite image. This is the passive remote sensing. And active remote sensing, these are the RadarSat 1. This is the RadarSat is the Canadian satellite which produce the radar beam. If you are go for the any ceremony in Kali Puja or any marriage ceremony, now we are using a radar beam also. In various function also, music show and popular social media platform, we are using some radar beams also. These radar beams are reflected from the sky and at certain distance of the platform, and the radar are reflected energy from the satellite also capture the radar energy. And these are the active sensor. The RadarSat 1 is the Canadian observation satellite. If we are using, if you have the question also, we are using sun rays, and why we are using radar beam also? The answer is when the cloud cover condition, if where it is flooding condition, the cyclone is affected. Recently, yes, all of you know the various cloud cover in the earth surface. Sun energy did not penetrate the cloud cover. So we are using radar satellite for the radar beam can penetrate. If you are going for these images, these are the river and these are the same area which are the flooded. This red portion is the flooded. If you are going for the Earth passive satellite which are using the sun rays, you cannot visible the exact scenario whenever the cloud cover. So the active remote sensing is also important for the military purpose also. They are taking the various information in night mode. So whenever the night mode and whenever the cloud condition is happen, then it will be passive remote sensing. Sorry, it will be active remote sensing. And now we are going for resolution, because if we are not going for the resolution, if we are not knowing for the resolution, we cannot go for the satellite image. Mainly, the satellite resolution is 4 types: partial, spectral, temporal, and radiometric. What is the partial resolution? Where all of you are using the Android mobile, and all of you know 5 megapixel camera, 20 megapixel camera, 30 megapixel camera. So these are the resolution, which the low resolution means the satellite using the lower band, and the high resolution means this area are clear by the satellite camera range is very much high. If you are taking one photograph for a bird, then this is your camera is not zooming. But if your camera is high resolution or DSLR camera, then you can zoom it and take the eye of the bird. These are the high resolution, because you see these are the 2 pictures. For one is low resolution, and the same area, if we are going the high resolution, this is the clear scenario. And now the world is developing very fast, so high resolution satellite image is very much popular. And these are the same scenario of if the satellite resolution is 80 meters, you see this area this much. These are the one settlement area. And if this satellite resolution is 10 meters, then you can see the clear picture of the same area. So for city planning or high scale planning, like small areas planning, the high resolution urban area planning, high resolution satellite image is very much required. This is the scenario of some picture, some satellite and the same area. The Landsat 7 is the satellite whose resolution is 30 meters. Multispectral means it is using multi-band, multi-color image. Satellite have 2 types of image. One is panchromatic, means black and white image, grayscale image. All of you know that when we are taking the photograph of camera, we take color photo and go into convert it into black and white photo. And if we had the color photo, then it is the multispectral photo. For satellite, it is the huge chapter, and they are using separate band. So they are using multispectral image. Multispectral image is the Landsat 7. This is the Landsat 7. If you see this same scenario in the Landsat 7, you see this type of picture. If we are going for the red square, this is the Indian remote sensing satellite. They are using LIST 3 sensor, the 25 meters multispectral. And if you are seeing the spot, this is the pink box, this is the 20 meter multispectral band. And if we are going for QuickBird 2, these are the satellite name: Landsat 7, Indian remote sensing satellite, Spot, QuickBird 2, Iconas, and Overview. And these are the, if you are showing the same area, your picture is the smallest and smallest. You zoom the level and the resolution should be 10. You zoom when the 30 meters multispectral, these are the black box, and the Iconas is 4 meters. These are the yellow box. So satellite sensor and the satellite resolution is very much depend on the any type of planning in geoinformatics or remote sensing and GIS. Remote sensing has wide range of application. These are the coastal application. You see the picture number A, these are the coastal part. And the same area you are seeing the picture number B also. And the same area you are seeing picture number C. But the difference between the time schedule. These are the A is the flat monsoon season image. B is the Rabi season image, means February. And C is the summer season image. This is the April image. So if you are the monitoring, if you are the planner, and if you are the monitoring the soul line, then you have to take the multi-series photograph of the same satellite image in the multiple time or multiple season. These are the ocean temperature monitoring. This is called sea surface temperature. And the satellite data is MODIS. MODIS data, you are seeing the 2000, this is the 1 day or 2 day interval data. The red color, if you are going the range, the low to high temperature. So whenever the monitor in ocean surface also, because the ocean surface monitor is very important for weather forecasting. So in remote sensing, they have the MODIS satellite and they sequentially collected the data from the same area where the low pressure is happening or not. And it is remote sensing technology is very useful in hazard assessment also. If see, this is the Mississippi River and this is the black portion is the flooded area. And this is the pre-flood area, August 2014, and this is the August 19, after flood area. So if you are going for the remote sensing, you can easily assess the vast area which have been hazard occurred. And after the planning, you are going for GIS. And this is the also Uttarakhand area, which the flood also happened recently. This is the river portion, and after flooding, you see the image. The every portion is the washed out. And these are the cloud, because these photographs are taken from active remote sensing. If it is taken from radar set or passive using radar beam, then you did not see this cloud cover. The remote sensing technology is also used for natural resource management. What is natural resource management? Natural resource means naturally, which are the like the forest. Forest is the natural resource. If you are the going for, this is the same area image. You are going for 2001, 2004, 2007, 2010, 2013, and this is the 2016 scenario. They are the green portion is forest cover. They are cutting the and the white portion is no more forest cover is there. If you are going for the, you are studying the remote sensing technology using that image, you can easily train the how the forest cover is degrading. And these remote sensing, these are using active remote sensing. And this particular photograph is this particular step of analysis in remote sensing. It is called phase analysis or chain detection analysis, because 2000 you see the 2001 image and you sequentially see the 2016 image. You got the changes in natural resources. This is the cyclone year. Last month, we all of face, just not face, we actually face in our news media also, because this is the year's image. And if you are the swing, these are the white portion is the cloud cover and these are the cyclone center. So this is the weather forecasting image. And this is the night mode remote sensing, mainly active remote sensing. This is the New York City, and which are taking from the photographs from NASA. So, how remote sensing is used for the present study and vast area for natural resource, for ocean monitoring, for climate change, you can see. But the second is the global positioning system. It is also important. You see some diagram, because the satellite gives the signal and the antenna or receiver control the signal. So how GPS can take the photographs? Because all of GPS satellite is geostationary satellite. Geostationary satellite means we have two types of satellite. One is polar orbiting, one is geostationary. Geostationary satellite means it is placed from the Earth in 17,700 kilometers above from the Earth. This is the arbitrary line from the satellite. You can see the satellite also. We have 24 GPS satellite. Whenever we GPS take the signal, it is got triangulation technology. We have that signal from our GPS device. It go to satellite and many satellite, and then the satellite control panel, control segment are collecting the signal and give you the exact position where you are locating. So GPS satellite are geostationary satellite, and it is fixed, and it is the number of satellite is 24 GPS satellites are working now, and it is placed from the Earth surface 7,700 kilometers. We all of us using the mobile GPS also, because we are using so many apps like Ola, Uber, Swiggy. We on our device in the GPS signal or location, and the people can reach with us by using the GPS apps. So how can it possible? This is the advanced GIS and GPS technological integration. So what is GIS? GIS in full form of GIS is Geographical Information System. Geographical Information System means it is one of the vast process. So first we are using the data. I go for the what type of data, and this data is using the software also. We are using hardware and software, specific software and specific method for user or people. These all together are the component of Geographical Information System. So which type of data we are using in GIS data? We are mainly using two types of data. One is vector data and one is raster data. So what is vector data and what is raster data? You see the customers, when people, the street, the parcel, these are the vector data. And raster data means the elevation, the land use and the real world. These are the raster data. So how can we use and why can we are using the raster and vector data? Because we digitizing the maps. So whenever we scan the hard copy data, then it is called raster data. Or whenever we are taking the satellite image, this is also called raster data. And whenever we are converting or digitizing the map, then it is called vector data. Just like the raster data, we have one location point, and then the point is the square. This is the pixel. In the raster, we are the smallest object of the raster. It is called pixel. And the vector, the smallest object of the vector is point. Point have unique identity, x, y, and z value also.
But I mean, your background, here you can mention your background always. I mean, you should. You are from this college and where now, I mean, you are, what is your field now? So that, I mean.
Okay. Then we are the vector x, y, and z value. What is x? X means x coordinate and y means y coordinate. We are showing our GPS device, and z means the altitude, elevation. And whenever we plot the line features, suppose these are the realistic scenario, real world, and we are converting the lines like street. These are the street, and we are plotting or digitizing the street. Then we are using line feature, the zone of the cell. And when we are demarcating one area, like these are the pond, these are the land use, these are the river, close line, then it is called polygon. So what is vector data? Because whenever we locating one position, this is called point data. Whenever we demarcating this is the identify, this is the street, this is the river, then this is the line feature, and whenever we demarcating, these are the plot, these are the agricultural land, these are the settlement area, these are the river area, then it is closed line, this is polygon. Why? If the satellite image give us, this is the river, this is the settlement, this is the agricultural land, so why we are converting into vector data? Because satellite data only have digital value, DN value. If we are color satellite image, we have 0 to 255 values for each pixel. But if we are converting into vector data, then we are putting our database, our value. Suppose this is the Om-Dayal Institution of Technology. We putting the point in our Google map and said that this is the naming the object and the design the object. These are the region. We are getting the raster data. We are converting into vector data for planning in GIS platform. So which GIS can use in various sectors like advertising, government sector, mapping and technology, environmental management, and medical sector also. These are the some examples. You are seeing the national highway system, and the blue color indicate the road volume where the traffic happens. If you are non-GIS personnel or non-technical personnel, you can easily say that through this index, where the blue line is thick, then the traffic is very huge, and where it is thin, then the traffic is very low. This analysis called geographical information system analysis. And you see these are the huge area, and for the vast area, vast type of data, huge type of data, in this analysis using GIS platform and GIS technology. If you are going for one small map, you are going for small planning, you can take your paper and through the pencil work. And if you are you are civil engineer, you know your drawing knowledge, you have the drawing knowledge. But if you are planning for your town or your city, then you go for the GIS software for planning. And this is the population index map. If we are going for the city, this blue color, this green color spot is agricultural land, and the brown color area is settlement area. So where already we are having the huge population, and all of the area we have the population settlement built up also. So where we can plan, where the settlement will be expand, then we go for this type of map, which are the portion we have assessing. If all of you know the word land bank, the government have land bank for planning the industry, and government have taken up these land which are the wasted land. These are the using for, if possible, some criteria are matched, then they are establishing the industry in that area. So these maps are prepared for the planning. Forest Fire Service Risk Map. What is the risk map? I previously told the natural disaster. You see the natural disaster scenario. You see the flood condition in Mississippi River. You see the flood condition in North Himachal, North Uttarakhand area, and you see the just Cyclone Central also. But you are not planned from the remote sensing satellite data. If you are going for the using the GIS platform, then you can plan. These are the planning series map, because if you are going for the forest fire risk map where forest can occur in the next year or the during the after monsoon, then these are the location you have. This plan, if you are going data, if you are going software, then the GIS technology can you assess that this portion, the red circle portion or forest may be occur next season or after the monsoon, after the dry season. And for base planning, this is the land use land cover map. You have the presently land use. How can land the use? These are the planning map for the base map using any type of GIS planning. And GIS can use the disease, health related mapping also. This is the, two type of the disease is there. One is communicational, one is non-communicational. Communicational means like the cholera, malaria, which is the transferable from man to man or insect to our virus. Suppose the corona. And non-communicational disease, which is have your previous history in your family or in your habit, and your body structure can be provided. The GIS can related the heart disease is non-communicational disease. And the heart disease, this is the USA, New York City heart disease death rate and adults from 35 years. You see which type of analysis and which type of data they are using for this type of map. This is the details map of heart disease death rate 2000 to 2004, adult age 35 years and the older by city. This is the New York City, and if it's going for the dark position, you see 445 to 525 people dead in 4 years. This is the very high rate. So this type of analysis is also possible in using GIS platform. And now we are suffering directly or indirectly in COVID-19. If you are going for the COVID scenario, this is the planning map. You have the dashboard also where you have the visible the database, and these are the red circle where the disease infection. These are the your left side. You can easily show this is the Medline, China, Korea, Italy, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, and the red box indicates where the how many infection is there, how many people are got infected. So this type of advanced analysis can be possible in GIS platform. I am showing so many maps in GIS. You see the fire service analysis, you see traffic network analysis, you can also see the heart disease related analysis. So these are the 2D maps. If you are going for two-dimensional map, you have to use the cartography technique. So you are knowing you are also know the AutoCAD software. We are CAD software. We are preparing the map. The cartography is the scientific art of map making, because we have the surveying technology. We have the surveying method. If we are preparing the 2D maps in GIS, we are going for the cartographic method. If we are going for the 3D technology, then we are going for 3D cartography also. So how can we prepare the map? This is the present scenario. We are using the Google Map. Google Map gives us the free access and provide the free platform to use the map. If you are going the Google Map, then you saw the north line is there, the street is indicating red color and the yellow color, or the settlement is blue color, and river is, ocean is the light sky color. These are the digital cartographic technique. Because we are using the digital platform, so our technique, it should be digital cartographic technique. And now the last option is database management system. So what is database management system? Database management system is the feeder for the raw data collected, data storage, data retrieval, data administration, reports, queries, and data security. What it will be happen? Because it will be happen that we are having so many database. We all of you know the dashboard also. We are going for the dashboard daily, how the COVID infection is high or it will be less. Then we are going, if we are not related the map, then it should be going for only for the database. All of the uses, firstly we have the huge database storage. Your institution also have the database from your registration number or the enrollment number. Whenever you after 5 or 3 years you got the job, and government job or private job, your company should be verified if you are studying in this institution or not. Then your institution should be called down in your roll number, and oh yes, this student in this year, they have the certified, then you are this institutional student. So this type of huge database and the large data volume of data storage, data retrieval, and data administration. After that, they reports and queries in this database, and the data security also. They have the security for the database. It is all these are possible in database management system. The typical software are, especially various software are using for database management system. So what are the data? Where the database management system can use? First, I told you your institution also, educational sector, because the educational sector is a huge sector, and if you are going for the 10th exam, you are the board exam. All of the students have board exam and passes through, then 12 plus, then BTech or MTech, then higher study. But these are your educational scenario and educational profile. But your institution also have your educational profile. This database can manage using the DBMS system. And the banking sector, we all know in this pandemic we are using online banking system, and we are using the ATM also for all-time money transfer, and the online banking like Google Pay, Paytm, etc. So all banking are database. You have your user ID and you have your password. But bank have also your database and your ID password. Whenever you put the ID password, bank have the similar system. They are verified. You are this customer or not. Your ID or password should be matched or not. Whenever you put up the wrong password 3 times, they have blocked 5 minutes, because these are the system generated process. So I previously told the data security. These are the data security system. So the DBMS system, bank also have using their database for security purpose. and the library. You have the library in your institution, you have National Library also, and the library system, there are so many books. If you have one or two books, then you can know. But if you have thousands and number of books, then how can you know where it will be placed? Then the library also using the DBMS system. And railway reservation. Now the railway reservation, we all know. We go to the railway apps, and previously, when you are very young, then you are also young, and previously we have the one slip. This slip also have now, but going for the slip, and we fill up the form and go to Howrah station, and wherever the nearest station we have railway seat booking counter, and we give it to the railway personnel, and they have allotted our seat in particular train. Now this system has been in properly online system. We have the train number, we have the seat availability, which type of compartment we can choose, we can book the seat, and the online money transfer, and confirm our ticket also. We have the bus service also this type, we have the airline services. So how can it is possible? How can bank and rail line, airline, bus service are collaborating? This is the integration system. This is the critical management database system, which all have been possible using DBMS platform. And it is also online shopping. It is also telecommunication service, because we have the social media also, and we have the database. So these are the DBMS system. This is the example of one DBMS system. This is the monthly progress report of an company which have this type of report. They have, because this type of report, if you are see, these are the figure of the actual, where they have the dollar sign. These are the financial transaction. So this is the very important for an company for their annual or monthly financial transaction, which sector they have, how much money. And if you are see the green line, yellow line, red line, these are their deadline. These are their assigning line. The green means these are the okay, yellow means it should be improved, and red means it will be poor. They have to be focused for their monthly report on these sectors. So they have all companies, all educational sector, all related huge network which they have the DBMS system. And this is also part of geoinformatics. So we have discussed what is remote sensing. Remote sensing means remotely sense the earth surface. It is, if it is in daytime, then the sunlight will be there. It is in the night time, the radar beam also there. This is called active or passive remote sensing. And the platform they are using for taking the satellite image, airborne platform, ground-borne platform, spaceborne platform, and you are seeing the various images where the remote sensing can be used. And the GPS, the integration of the earth surface in spatially coordinate system, mainly X and Y. If you are defining the earth surface, it is a 2D, then you have the location. This is the coordinate location, latitudinal location and longitudinal location. So GPS is the device with calculating where are you in the earth surface in the coordinate value, with coordinate value. So DPS satellite are geostationary. These are placed in the earth surface in the same places. We have 24 DPS satellite and around 17,000 kilometers above from the earth surface it will be placed. And using triangulation method, they are give you the XY coordinate. And the GIS is the technology where the software I go further later, and in the using of cartographic technique, we are using the GIS map and remote sensing map also. And the DBMS system, because GIS is the huge platform for using geoinformation system, then they are using the GPS database or DBMS database for the integration of data and satellite database for integration of Earth surface. All are related to space. All are related to Earth related data, whichever I earlier told you for what is geoinformatics. Geoinformatics analyze, storage, and get analysis for the presentable platform. So what is database? What is GIS? In short, the GIS using hardware, software, specific data if it is vector data and it is raster data. What is vector data? Vector data means any scan image, any image taken from the satellite also, any image taken from the drone also, and you're taking photographs also, and the particular method or particular software for the people for benefited the society. We are using mainly three types of GIS. One is desktop GIS, one is web GIS, and one is server GIS. The GIS data, what is GIS data? Just recall you, the GIS is the two types of data. This is the raster data, lower one, and this is the vector data. You know the point. These are the location, the student, address, or any object which has XY data. These are the point location. And if you are the line type, this is the road, this is the railway, this is the other database. And if you are the polygon, these are picture or continent showing. But if you are the pond or any closed line which have the pond, lake, water body, anything, you can, or your institution also, you can go for the polygon. So three types of data we are having in GIS in vector format. These are the point, line, and polygon. This vector format are changing in software also. Type, vector format type is changing in software also. Now we are going for the 3DS. All of you know in short what is GIS, what is remote sensing, and what is GPS, and what is the cartographic technique, and where are the GIS system using the DBMS database. And this is the 3D GIS. Do you see the 3D movie also? You have the some Inox or these types of shopping mall and go for one space and then go for the 3D movie. And this 3D movie, we have the real scenario. If these are the 2D, then we have the only pictorial scenario. But if we have the 3D, we have the realistic scenario. Now, the 3D technology is advanced technology in GIS sector. So why we are using 3D technology? You are using 3D technology in 3D software like fast visualization, terrain updating, video interpretation, integration, 3D editing, 3D analysis, virtual city modeling, and 3D models. These technologies came recently, like 1995. These are the technology is came in this GIS platform. These are the GIS 3D map. If you are seeing that this platform, this Zoom platform, you giving the 2D view. But if the going for this scenario, you can see the blue color building, red color and green color building. You see the 3D view also. This is the 3D GIS map. This also have one 3D map, and your left hand side you have the index, which one and what is. These are the legend tab. You have the office code, and you see the left one, you have the database also. And if you selecting the object, then it will be the zone this attribute table also, because GIS have you the spatial and attributional information. Attributional meaning that this is the Ongwell Upop Institute, and these have these type of department, and these have this type this number of faculty they have this taking the class, and these are the student scenario. So these GIS, if you are going 2D also, you have the map. You see they where the 35 less than 38, 35 age group of people are infected from heart disease. And if you are going for 3D map, you can also find where the attribute scenario. These are the city map of this is the California city, I think, and these are the 3D scenario. If we are going for the 3D software, we going for the 3D view, then we have the 3D scenario of the same area. In 2D, the difference between 3D and 2D, 3D you can see the building. These are the settlement area, these are the building, these are the highly urban area. But if you are going for 3D software, then you see these are the how storage these building are, how much space in the rooftop, and how the building are placed one from near one. These are the 3D real life scenario, real scenario you can see in the 3D maps. This is also a 3D map, and you have the actual scenario in your right hand side, and left hand side this is the planning map. For 3D, we are using drone also, because you don't have the overlapping image, you don't have the cartograph, don't have the X, Y, and Z value of each and every object. You cannot see the 3D view of your picture. So we have the 3D database also for the 3D GIS map analysis. This is also, you see the if you remember the forest cover area, we have the 2010 image to 2016 image. We have the scenario in front of you through remote sensing. And same thing you can see in 3D map also. If you are see, this is the 1991 in the yellow color, 1991 to 1950. These are the represent in yellow color. If going for we are going for vast urbanization, then you are the cyan color, light blue color, 1951 to 1975, the cyan color image. These buildings are established in between the period of 1951 to 1975. Then we are going for the dark blue color. These are the dark blue color, 1976 to 2002. 2000, these buildings are will be built up, and we go for the present scenario up to 2018 to 2001 to 2018. The blue building is placed here. So you can easily going for change detection analysis with the using of 3D database, using the 3D GIS map in this GIS platform. And you can plan the future also. I going this. This is the 3D map, and you saw this is the planning for one area which have been has backend, and which backend place how can we plan for this where it is. This is called the city planning. The major uses of 3D GIS is city planning, because 3D GIS is using specific software, and it helps the city planner for the visualization and their proposed changes it will be, you can see the 1991 to 2012 scenario, 2018 scenario. So you can easily visualize the thing and the scenario where you can, as a city planner, you can plan your city or you can expand your city. Then building modeling information. We have all architectural architectural building, which have very historical building and they have very important for us. We cannot build them and remodeling this building. So 3D GIS also helps them to maintain this building and the model also. And this is the coastal modeling analysis. And if you see the coastal model where the elevation and where the if just occurred, this type of super cyclone occur where the access the last flooding, where the land surface they have faced the flood water. So these types of planning is very much using in coastal modeling analysis also. And the risk assessment also, they have this type of risk zonation mapping. And wind farm assessment, they have, you have the picture also, and the digital elevation model. Orthophoto. Orthophoto means these satellite image have X, Y, and Z value. Because I don't go the huge then if you have the one same area image and if you have the overlapping 50% same area, then you have the 3D view of the overlapping area. This is called orthophoto. Orthophoto means you have this satellite, from this satellite image, you have X, Y, and elevation value also. And this is the overview. And for this planning, and the wind skill has been placed here. Wind turbine has been placed properly by using 3D GIS. Why we are using 3D GIS for urban settlement? Because we have 50% of the world population in urban area nowadays. And now all of you who are staying in village, he can plan, they after getting job or after having job, they have settled down in urban area. So urban area all have huge pressure for mass population. So how can we manage? They go for the problem of the urban area. Urban area is very congested and housing problem also is there. If you are going for the Mumbai, you don't get a one single room flat also for your own. You have the money, but you don't have the place for your accommodation. And the transport facility also, we know the public transport. It is very rough. Why it is rough? Because the population is huge and the transport is less. So the transportation system is insufficient. And the employment. Now, unemployment is the main issue of our society and our country also, in the world also, because this is the fault of the population, of increasing the population. And the crime, if the unemployment is huge, then crime is also increasing. And the education, sanitation, and basic health also. You don't have the health, you can face also in COVID pandemic, we don't have the beds in hospital, we don't have the oxygen in our home. If required, the patient is very serious also. So if the huge problem in urban area, then environmental quality should be broken up. So why should we go as a responsible citizen or a city planner or urban planner? We go for the plan for the city and town, because the city has huge pressure, the town has less pressure than city. So if you are planning in 3D GIS, if you are town going for the town plan, then you have the different type of plan. And if you are going for the city plan, then you have the different type of plan in city. For city, if you have the plan, the smart home, smart building, open data, air pollution monitoring, educational institute, smart hospital, smart healthcare, smart public facility. So how can we smart? If we are going for New York City, they already smart. Because if you are going for the Tokyo City, they have the smart. So how can they smart? Because smart city can plan the smart city. If don't have the smart planning, then the city should be smart. If you have the industry, security, retail, society, healthcare, home, emergency, mobility, if you are the planning for them the smartly using the 3D GIS, your city will be smart in future, or you can build a part of the smart city. This is all of you, the India have the plan to 100 smart. They have the choose the cities which have been smart in last few years. They first phase, they have the 100 cities, they have the smart. They going to be smart in future. So like Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, I don't have the 100 list also, but if they have the plan, so how can we plan? They have the smart, their city already have existing, but how they will be smart? So we going for the smart visualization. I show you one small video.
आज हम लोग बात करेंगे देश में बन रहे एक न्यू स्मार्ट सिटी धोलेरा के बारे में, जो जापान के शहर जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी, सिंगापुर जैसे एनवायरनमेंट और मुंबई जैसे इकोनॉमी से भरपूर ग्रीनफील्ड स्मार्ट सिटी है, जहां पे वर्ल्ड क्लास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, स्मार्ट नेटवर्क, स्मार्ट ट्रैफिक मैनेजमेंट, स्मार्ट ट्रांसपोर्ट, स्मार्ट सिटी सिस्टम, लॉन्ग हाईवे, मेट्रो, रेलवे स्टेशन, इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट और साथ में पोर्ट भी मौजूद होगा। एक ऐसी शहर बनाई जा रही है जो हर तरफ से अनोखा है। शहर के हर एक चीज को स्मार्ट नेटवर्क से जुड़े जा रही है, चाहे वो स्ट्रीट लाइट्स हो, ट्रैफिक सिग्नल्स हो या फिर और कुछ, सब कुछ स्मार्ट एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी से कनेक्टेड है और इसलिए इसे फ्यूचर स्मार्ट सिटी भी कहा जा रहा है। आइए जानते हैं धोलेरा के बारे में डिटेल्स में, लेकिन उससे पहले चैनल पे अगर आप नए हो तो सब्सक्राइब करके बेल आइकन को दबा दें ताकि आने वाले लेटेस्ट अपडेट आपको मिलते रहे। गुजरात के अंदर बन रहे इंडस्ट्रियल सिटी धोलेरा भारत सरकार का एक महत्वपूर्ण प्रोजेक्ट है। इस शहर को अहमदाबाद शहर से 45 किलोमीटर दूर समुद्र के किनारे बनवाई जा रही है, जो दिल्ली मुंबई इंडस्ट्रियल कॉरिडोर जैसे भारत सरकार की एक महत्वाकांक्षी प्रोजेक्ट का हिस्सा है। 2007 में गुजरात वाइब्रेंट समिट में धोलेरा सिटी का प्रपोज किया गया था। 2011 में इसे ऑफिशियली लॉन्च की गई और 2016 में इस शहर को बनाने का काम जोर शोर से चलने लगा है। धोलेरा सिंगापुर से भी बड़ा होने वाला है, जहां सिंगापुर 721 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर पर फैला हुआ है, वही धोलेरा 920 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर एरिया पर बनाई जा रही है। धोलेरा को स्पेशली इंडस्ट्रियल हब बनाने के ऊपर ध्यान दिया जा रहा है ताकि बड़े बड़े ग्लोबल कंपनीज धोलेरा पे अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट लगाए और इसलिए शहर को वर्ल्ड क्लास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट की जा रही है ताकि ज्यादा करके ग्लोबल कंपनीज को ज्यादा से ज्यादा सुविधा मिल सके, उन्हें किसी भी तरह की परेशानी न आए। इसलिए पूरे सिस्टम को एक छोटी सी विंडो में बदल दी। किसी को भी कुछ भी चाहिए एक सिंपल प्रोसेस से इंटरनेट के द्वारा मिल जाएगा, चाहे वो लैंड हो, न्यू कंपनी सेटअप करना हो, बिल्डिंग्स बनाना हो या फिर कुछ भी करना हो, एक छोटी सी क्लिक से सारी चीज आपके मुट्ठी में। और बताने की जरूरत नहीं, इतना इजी प्रोसेस होने के बाद कोई भी इन्वेस्टर इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए तैयार हो जाएगा। ये थोड़ा नजर शहर के डेवलपमेंट पर डालते हैं। जैसे कि मैंने पहले ही कहा था, यहाँ पे हर एक चीज स्मार्ट बनवाई जा रही है। धोलेरा में कोई वायर्स ऊपर से नहीं जाएगा, सारे के सारे अंडर पाइपलाइन से ले जाया जाएगा इसमें इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लाइन, गैस पाइपलाइन, इंटरनेट कनेक्शन, वाटर लाइन, ड्रेन लाइन सब कुछ अंडरग्राउंड पाइपलाइन के माध्यम से ले जाया जाएगा। इतना एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी है कि बारिश होने के बाद पानी शहर के अंदर जमा नहीं होगा। इससे कहते हैं फ्यूचरिस्टिक प्लानिंग। शहर में कमर्शियल बिल्डिंग्स और रेसिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग एकदम अलग अलग रखा गया है। इस वजह से ट्रैफिक भी बहुत ही कम होगा। शहर के अंदर स्मार्ट हॉस्पिटल, बच्चों के लिए स्मार्ट पार्क, स्मार्ट स्कूल एंड यूनिवर्सिटीज, स्मार्ट इंस्टीट्यूट, स्मार्ट लाइट्स, स्मार्ट मैनेजमेंट सब कुछ बढ़िया स्मार्ट एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी से बना हुआ है। और इतने सारे स्मार्ट टेक्नोलॉजी को संभालने के लिए भी तो कोई मैनेजमेंट होना चाहिए। इसलिए शहर के अंदर एबीसीडी बिल्डिंग बनाई जा रही है। बच्चों की पढ़ने की एबीसीडी नहीं, एबीसीडी का फुल फॉर्म है एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कम बिजनेस डिस्ट्रिक्ट फॉर धोलेरा। शहर में जो कुछ भी स्मार्ट टेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़ा हुआ है वो सारे इंटरनेट के द्वारा एबीसीडी बिल्डिंग में कनेक्ट रहेगा। इन सारे टेक्नोलॉजी को मॉनिटरिंग के लिए 24 आवर्स लोग रहेंगे। कोई भी फैसिलिटीज में कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम हुआ तो एबीसीडी बिल्डिंग उन डिपार्टमेंट के लोगों को खबर कर देगा। लाइक कोई भी बिल्डिंग में आग लगी हो, कोई एक्सीडेंट, कोई क्राइम या फिर भूकंप जैसे हादसे में एबीसीडी बिल्डिंग शहर के लोगों को पता लगने से पहले ही पर्टिकुलर डिपार्टमेंट को सतर्क कर देगा। इतने सारे स्मार्ट टेक्नोलॉजी चलाने के लिए इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की भी बहुत जरूरी है, तो इसलिए 5 मेगावाट बिजली तैयार की जाएगी शहर में। बिजली तैयार करने के लिए भी यहाँ पे सोलर पैनल का यूज किया जाएगा। बताया जा रहा है ये भारत का सबसे बड़ा सोलर पार्क बनेगा। मतलब जरा सोचिए, शहर अभी तक पूरी तरीके से बनी नहीं है लेकिन प्लानिंग पूरी तरीके से हो चुका है। शायद इसे कहते हैं फ्यूचर स्मार्ट सिटी। अब कोई भी शहर बने, खासकर इंडस्ट्रियल सिटी, यहाँ पे ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एकदम स्मूथ होना चाहिए। इसलिए 6 लेनों की एक्सप्रेसवे, धोलेरा अहमदाबाद मेट्रो, इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट, रेलवे स्टेशन और सामुद्रिक पोर्ट भी शामिल है। मतलब शहर में ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की कोई कमी नहीं है। इसके अलावा भी शहर में इतने सारे स्मार्ट टेक्नोलॉजी बन रहे और शहर में क्या क्या होने वाला है शायद मैं किसी और वीडियो में विस्तार से आप लोगों को बताऊंगा। लेकिन अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो इसे लाइक करो, शेयर करो अपने दोस्तों के साथ।
তো এটাই হলো যে can you see the PPT?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. It is visible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for Dholera, if you are seeing, this is the like the city of New York or Tokyo, at like the we are trip go a short trip for the foreign trip, and so these are the modern technology we are using in 3D GIS. First of you, the choosing the area also, which area they can be planned for a city, and their planning should be in 3D GIS platform. So they can plan the actual and present scenario in the concept of the problem, futuristic problem which they have faced in future. So these are the software are using in 3D GIS, the map making in the AutoCAD, Autodesk. We have the Autodesk software also, the map making software and 3D mapping. All of you are using the AutoCAD software for in civil engineering also, and the Autodesk software is using in 3D GIS and 3D mapping. And the ESRI have the 3D GIS and the Open Cities map also are the software for the 3D GIS. So 3D GIS are the modern technology which are the using our city should be smart in future, and we are the planning for mass city by using the 3D GIS. And lastly, I would thank you all of you to listen this lecture and hope in future you are using the 3D GIS technology as a city planner. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, Kamrul, please take up some open questions.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Shall we start? So first question, somebody has asked, which of the equipment, instruments required and process for the 3D GIS planning? Just now, ma'am has explained. Okay. Now, one more question is how, we'll use GIS for underground structure. Say for, gas pipeline or water pipeline. So how can we use this GIS? So deeply, please, tell us.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, for underground planning in urban area, because all of the companies which have the pipeline and gas line, they have also the GIS cell also. Because if you have the going the Reliance Foundation, so they have the GIS cell. They have the planning for the alignment in the underground surface. They have the land views and land cover map where the water bodies happen, where the agricultural land is happen. They have the layer structure, sir. These are the layer scenario in top of the world and top of the earth surface and the layer of the in 1 meter or 2 meter distance, the underground scenario in remotely sensing, and they have the some field criteria also. They have also their pipeline alignment system. They have the blueprint also where their pipeline should go, and they have maintenance this pipeline as their the alignment and the contour. They have the base map. In I told you the 3D map. They have the contour where the surface elevation and where the slope and aspect is there in a terrain. They have the pipeline alignment in gas also and the oil and petrol also.
Okay, so that means, see, undersea, there are a lot of cables, pipeline, water pipeline and gas pipeline is going. So to locate those, facilities, so yes, GIS is very much, useful.
Yes, sir, because these are the if the pipeline, they have the metallic object also. And metal can be easily detected in active remote sensing. As the military have the detection, the tank and the weapons in the laser beams also. So they have this technology for the monitoring where the pipeline has been placed, and they also have the base map for their pipeline.
Okay. Now I'll request you to give your exposure and where GIS can be used mostly. What are the facilities, benefits? So please kindly, in a few lines, explain to my students.
Okay, sir.
Why they will study GIS in the after your this graduation? Why they will study GIS or geoinformatics?
Sir, if they have the dream, they go to NASA and they go to in the Space Application Center. Then they have to go for the GIS, because if we are dream, so we have the engineering students, because sir, most of the students have in general line and few dual students have got the joint entrance and they get engineering like civil, mechanical, electrical, etc. So obviously they are intelligent, and if the society and country have this type of knowledge and database, they go for GIS. But why? Because they have the facility to how can the plan one city, one society. And if we are I am already deliver my lecture, and I told you that the 50% more than people are staying in the city. So we are going for the smart village. We are now the state. We have the smart mobile and we have to smart ourselves also. So the GIS technology is now upcoming upgraded technology. So if you are going in future for the GIS technology, then you have to got the job also, job security, and you have the opportunity to, as a part, you can develop our society and our country also.
And what are the basic knowledge required? And what are the basic subjects required for higher studies in
Basic subject is
geoinformatics?
in civil engineer. They have the MTech in geoinformatics and the management system, and geography is the base subject. And if they have the pure science, then they have also the mathematics. And the objective is that IIRS Dehradun, they have the MTech course in geoinformatics. They got this taken for the chance from this, and our department also have the MTech course in geoinformatics also in collaboration with NACAO.
Yeah, so in our undergraduate program, generally in under survey subject, okay, we have this little bit idea about this. Your GIS, okay, and in the nowadays, we have changed our curriculum also. So basic knowledge they are getting either in second year or third year about the what is GIS, okay. And in final year, actually, though it is not in the actual curriculum, but we are arranging one special class for GIS. So it is up to the students. If they are interested, they can learn. But I am sure I request the students to attend these classes. You thought only if it is not under the curriculum that you will not attend this class. It is for your benefit we are arranging this thing. So thank you, ma'am. And any other question, Kamrul? Any other open question? I think mostly I have covered. Any other thing? Any other question?
No, sir. No more questions. Let me check.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, please, Kamrul, go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Please, Kamrul, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. No more questions are there. So I think we are good for now. Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful presentation. And we will be back at exactly 2:30 p.m. with our second speaker. Till then, thank you.
Okay, ma'am, we'll be in contact. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much to give me this opportunity. Take care, because situation is now okay.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah. Please.
Have a nice day.
You please also take care.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.